Well, we heard the other day that Superman Legacy will indeed include some other characters from the DC Universe, specifically the Authority. And now we've got a new report on which Authority characters are set to appear, and quite honestly, I am a bit surprised. Let's break down the report, talk about where it comes from, and a little bit about these characters. Well, last Friday we got the word that the superhero group known as the Authority would be making some kind of appearance in James Gunn's Superman Legacy. And now a new report seems to reveal which characters these will be. Now, many people were expecting some of the bigger names like Jenny Sparks, but more specifically Midnighter and Apollo making their appearance in the movie to lay the groundwork for the Authority. But in a typical James Gunn manner, he has gone in a very, very different direction. Now, this report comes via Daniel RPK over on his Patreon. So like we always like to say, it's not from James Gunn or DC Studios, so we want to take it with a grain of salt. But what he is reporting is we are going to get 3 members of the Authority set to appear in the movie. Now, according to Dan, we are going to see Jack Hawksmoor, aka the God of Cities, the Doctor, although he doesn't specify which version, and the team's second engineer, Angela Spica. Now, he does go on to report that an African-American actor is being sought for Hawksmoor, but he didn't have any information on any of the other actors. Now, I find this pretty curious because having the second engineer and potentially the second version of the Doctor, Habib Ben Hassan, could indicate a later iteration of the Authority team. Now, I do understand why he didn't go with Midnighter and Apollo, who are very much a Batman and Superman world's finest kind of duo, despite their relationship. It would be too kind of on the nose for this particular movie, and I think using these characters to set the framework for the greater team is probably pretty wise. It's also somewhat of an indicator of their level of involvement in the movie. Having the God of Cities and the Engineer in the story that could involve Brainiac trying to steal Metropolis, well, all these pieces come together pretty nicely, and you could totally see how they work. Now, he also chimed in that a classic Superman character will return, and it's one we haven't seen for many decades. And that's Eve Tessmacher. Miss Tessmacher was a huge part of the Donner films, and apparently, in these movies, she will be Lex Luthor's influencer assistant, basically being his social media person, which honestly is a great reimagining of the role. Now, we have no idea how the Authority will ultimately factor into the story, but we also should consider the morally gray nature of the group. There is a pretty good chance, at least in the beginning, they won't be aligned with Superman or could be out-and-out antagonists. I could totally see the Authority being uncomfortable with Superman's level of power, and the influence of Lex Luthor over the greater world could drive a narrative that puts them in opposition. When exactly we get a more Superman and the Authority versus Superman versus the Authority, well, we're gonna have to wait and see.